All right, so we can start for today. So I'm making the video after a long I'm not getting much time to make the YouTube videos, but now I decided again, there is classical games going on, so maybe we can have the videos on it, and you guys can learn something from it, and also I'm learning from the games. So without wasting much time, let's get started for today. So we are going to see the game which has played between Hikaru Nakamura versus Andre Sipiko. It has played in FIDE Grand Prix round 2, which has happened yesterday on 5th of February 2022. So without wasting much time, let's get started with the game. What has happened in the game? Let's see. So Hikaru started with the normal play. He started. He should have started with the d4, but he said no. I want to go with something different. So he started with the English opening response with the e5 and knight 2. It is pretty normal setup over here. You can see, and here there are other lines, like rather than developing knight onto the c6, black can decides to go with the further pawn push, maybe knight developments, or knight can just go over here to hitting the pawn over here, and black can ask for this idea where white can go over here, and these are like maybe queen can go over here if you takes over here. Perhaps maybe first is to can go over here with the some ideas of over here, and this is both are hanging over there. So maybe in that case, you can just simply play the move c6 to avoid any ping and pawn over here. Just to avoid it, and maybe then white can decide to takes over here. Black can takes and takes. This is one of the line possibly over here. So let's go and see. After the knight down to the c6 in the game, Hikaru decides to just go with the fianchetto setup and just go for the castle, a normal setup, and black responded with the idea of asking for the central over there. So Hikaru said, okay, I'm going to take it. You want to take it, take over here. What is the big deal for me? No big deal. I'm simply going over here, and I'm going to castle over here. It's normal move. Now we're going for, it's a good move. Maybe you can just go over here and castle happen. So far so good. No what can I say, mistakes, or the uh, position where you can attack over here. So queen to c2 is most natural way of play over here, logical, and a3 not allowing for this, and maybe some other ideas of go for this and go for fianchetto over here, double fianchetto setup. But Esipenko said no, I'm going over here, and this is not a good move. Maybe you could have come over here to for further development and come over here, but that didn't happen. Hikaru said okay, I'm going to take it, take, and here the top player always do for if I would have played, I'd simply move my knight to somewhere else, maybe here, or I don't know where I can put. So but Hikaru said I am not going to push my move my knight. I will play simply this move, and here in this case black has to decide. There is some variation like this: takes, then takes, and then takes, and then takes. This is one variation is possible over here, but black decides to retrieve back and not to give up the bishop, and then white moves the knight over here, hitting the bishop over there, and black said okay, if you want to take my bishop now, you can take, and I'll be getting the semi open file for my rook. And Hikaru said okay, I don't mind you to take it, and he took over there, and he's asking to push. This is one of the best move as per the engine, e3, and then the d3 is the suggested by engine, and here Hikaru could have played this queen to c4 move, which is the correct move as per the engine, but Hikaru goes for this, and he allows for some counter ideas. He he allowed for some attacks over there with the knight to e4, where this is kind of a possible line. But again, Hikaru said I don't want to go with that, so he goes over here, and he allowed another tempo over here, or no, it didn't happen in the game, I guess. Let me just see. No, rather than going over here, Esipenko decides to go over here and supporting the knight, because yeah, it's not a good move at all. I was just thinking for a minute, maybe you could just go over here and pick the knight, so it's not a good move. So he decides to support the knight over here. Then Hikaru said, okay, I'm developing further. If you want to take my pawn, you can take it. It didn't happen. And then here Hikaru said, now okay, enough, now I'm going to take it. So he took it with the bishop, which is surprising for me, because after fianchetto generally you will not go for the further taking over here. So maybe I'm also a little surprised with it, but maybe he has calculated much. This is at top level, so after pawn push maybe he can just push his king somewhere else later on. Bishop goes back onto the c6, and rook comes onto the c1, logical, um, just making the double up over here and attacking the c7 pawn ultimately. Then rook comes over here to defend it. In times if bishop goes somewhere else, he could be able to defend it. And Hikaru said, okay, I'm coming into other directions, maybe I'm planning for this, so you have to play this. So he forced it to play for this line, and then Hikaru just bring another rook up, rook left, and maybe he's planning to go over here another rook. And yeah, that has happened. So doubled up rook and the triple attack over here. So queen to e6, I mean, I didn't understood what is the idea behind that. And here Hikaru found the best move to distract the bishop, because this is the square which maybe Hikaru looking for the rook. So he has sacrificed a pawn over here, and here Esipenko could have gone for this move as well, but he goes for this move, and then he just comes up over here, so attacking over here, and he took over there, and after that he is going to get the pawn back. So he has calculated well enough, and he took over there, and rook comes in. So here rook takes over here, rook checks over here, and here there are lot of lines to see. I mean, if king moves, let's try to calculate. If king moves, what is going to happen? So let's suppose king goes over here, then it's kind of a very bad position for you. You know, queen can come in over here, maybe of this idea. So then bishop can come back, and queen check is coming over here, and there are again another lines, like if you goes over here, you can just simply put the rook over here. And if in case of pawn push, you can just give this check, king goes over here, takes, and here you comes hitting that, you come over here and you come over here. So these are some of the lines which I mean, sometimes you need to remember that you don't need to move the king. So after the check, rook comes back, and here rather than taking here instantly, I'll give you some time to find the best move here for white. So I'll give you a couple of seconds to find the move. Hats off to you if you found the move. The move is bishop takes over here, and you cannot take it with the queen, which is kind of a blunder. After this you will be the exchange up. I mean, you will be the exchange down by black, so it is not possible. So here after this you have to take it with the pawn, and it is just temporary sacrifice because you are going to win it. Let's see the variation how he won back the bishop over here. So first check over here, then king has to move somewhere else, so king goes over maybe f8 as per the game, what has happened in the game. And then here rook takes over here, queen takes over here, and the check comes in, and you block over here and take it. So this is what happened in the game. And now you can see here the position is very bad for Esipenko. All pawns are very bad, and Hikaru is very good up with the he's going to pick this. So his mini attack on the black side. So black decides to take one pawn. Here Hikaru could have grabbed this pawn, but unnecessary, allowing the checks, and maybe go here, then checks, and you go back or somewhere else, maybe picking. So Hikaru decides to move the king up, and then queen comes onto the c5. Hikaru took another pawn, and after that he has this pawn as well. But here in this position, black plays the b5 move, maybe trying for some counter attacks, but Hikaru said, okay, I am asking you for the trade now. So he said the idea being is that you are going to give the check and maybe go somewhere else and pick other pawns. So Esipenko said, I'll come back. and Hikaru just improving the position. Later on, he just gave some checks and blocked the promotion of this. And later on, there are some shuffle happens, and then Hikaru just started rolling the pawns into the king side, and after the h6 move, Esipenko resigned over here. So it was a very interesting game to see how the position can make the changes over here. So Esipenko did blunder over here, and Hikaru found some very good way to finish it up with the end game studies. So queen pawn end game are always difficult, but again, he is the super GM, so definitely he has that much of experience and knowledge to convert these positions to the winning position. So I hope guys you have learned something from the video. Let me know in the comments how was the video. This was another video after a long time, so maybe you feel some little differentness or something, so you can let me know in the comments guys. Bye bye, take care. Do subscribe to the channel if you are first time watching the video. Thank you so much.